Well, he had the ghost of Angel telling him he had to wait and make sure that everything was okay, and he was wearing that hat.
Obviously the reference is lost on me.
Dexter.
You gotta stop naming characters that are not Dexter on that show because I don't remember or care about them. Oh, Angel and his divorce, and I'm sure he had other stories too that I don't remember. Dokes and him not liking Dexter for a season, I guess.
Yeah, but Dokes also had that great surprise motherfucker meme, so...
Surprise,
what I was
motherfucker!
thinking earlier was like, isn't that where that came from?
Yes,
and if that ghost popped out at the end of the first episode and said, surprise, motherfucker! You would have lost your shit,
You would have
Nick.
loved it. See, there is a way to do a Dexter reboot, and they just didn't do it. They didn't have the balls. Episode 358 of the TV Dudes, recorded November 10th, 2021. Valley TV. This week, we're talking about not Peak TV, we're talking about Valley TV. Nick did the TV homework. He watched Dexter New Blood on Showtime and Arcane on Netflix, but Les and Randy had trouble finding much to like on TV this week. And we'll talk about that and more in our TV Diaries for the week. But before we get to all that, I'm Randy.
I'm Les.
I'm Animani Nick.
And we're the TV Dudes. Right, I forgot. Animaniacs was on the TV homework. I forgot it so much that I watched 2 episodes and totally forgot about it already. It was.
You forgot to remember it.
I don't know. I don't know if it was I don't know if it's I'm in a mood, which is possible. It is, at toilet end of 2021 and things are terrible. I feel like with Ted Lasso off and What If off and all our What Did We Do in the Shadows, Only Murders, like all the great TV is on hiatus, and we're a couple weeks out from anything really, really great coming up. And this was just kind of a not a great week. I watched stuff, but I felt like it wasn't a great week for TV.
Yeah, I would agree.
Oh, I'm sorry, you were waiting for our agreement? Yes, also agree, yeah.
Looking at my TV Diaries is just sad.
Agreement or disagreement. Nick, I know you like it when we disagree.
You know what? Fuck you, Randy. There was a bunch of stuff. There was maybe this thing or another thing.
The whole second season of Big Dogs and all that Real Rob on the DVR. And...
I have stuff sitting in my queue to watch that people can tell me Succession got really good, but I'm like, I was not in the mood to commit to a marathon of like 2 seasons of Succession on HBO.
It's weird. It's like I don't want to, no. I'm just going to be single for a while.
Yes, that's what it was. Oh my god, that's what it was.
Like I'm not ready to start a show again.
No, I'm not ready for a long-term thing.
I'm sure there's a very lovely woman out there who would be great to take to dinner. I'm just going to sit at home and microwave this lasagna. That's what this week was.
I had a couple of one-night movie stands.
Yeah. There was a movie that definitely piqued my interest, but I'm just going to eat this microwave lasagna and enjoy being alone in my boxers.
You got to learn to love yourself first, Randy, before you can really commit to a show.
Loving yourself, is that what we're calling rewatching a sitcom you've seen like 25 times?
That is traditionally not what you're watching when you're talking about loving yourself, but that's a whole different discussion.
No, that's obsessing over an ex and not moving on.
Yes.
Cheers isn't coming back, Randy.
Yes, it is. Cheers is always there.
Terriers is gone.
Oh, God. Randy's on the porch, just crying in the rain, waiting for Cheers to come back.
Terriers is like that woman you meet at an airport bar and you lost her number. It was like a perfect thing, and just like you're never gonna see her again, but you keep playing that one thing over and over in your head. Yeah.
That was so cool. That 1 hour.
It was perfect. I mean, it never had a chance to be anything bad, but it was. It could never imagine it being anything bad.
This is why I did a whole podcast on 1-season shows, Randy. It could never fail me.
We are changing our format a little bit this week. We are going to go straight into Truth is Stranger Than Fan Fiction.
Imagine, if you will, a reality containing television programs so bizarre they are indistinguishable from the ravings of a madman. Is the show you are about to hear simply a fabrication in the mind of a man with clearly nothing better to do with his time? Or is the truth indeed stranger than fan fiction.
Nick, hit us with your weird shit.
Jeez, that's so fast. Wow. Not used to it. All right, whose turn is it this week? Les, is it your turn?
It's Les's turn.
I think it's mine.
Your letters are Y and W.
R.
Oh, really? You're going... There is an R. No, you have to choose. You have to actually choose one of them.
No, W, always W. It's 2 letters for the price of 1.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here.
I'm not paying retail for letters.
All right. Did you guys know that there is a anime based off of the Death Race series?
No.
I feel like I do know that, but I think it's just because I'm assuming it's true.
Or you're just assuming it's true? Because I gotta know before I go into this whole thing and I go Afro Samurai again.
You already told us about like Blood Car, right?
No, that's Blood Drive. That's totally different.
Blood
this
Drive,
is Death
that's
Race.
totally different. Okay, this is Death Race, but cars.
It's a completely different type of murder car.
I mean, but animated. Okay, yes, all right. I did not know that this existed.
Yeah, this one is animated. Blood Drive was live action. This one's animated and not as nuts, apparently. Which I find very strange. But there is a reason it's on here, and I bet you'll figure it out when I get to it. So yeah, there is a Death Race, not like the remake Death Race, but like more like Death Race 2000. And it's more like it's based off of the live action Sentai series that was based off of Death Race 2000, the Stallone one. And then this is the anime based off of that. So it is like a copy of a Japanese copy. It's that one Michael Keaton in Multiplicity that's run by blood and sex.
Yeah, no, like I've missed like 4 reference in the chain of getting to here. Like this might be like Jimmy James' autobiography. Like let's Super Monkey Death Car this.
So yeah, it's basically just a big old race. There's no one's car is fueled by blood or sex or anything like that. I mean, people have magical cards or whatever, but that's basically just because they run on like a super weird, like, I think it's like Energon from Transformers or whatever, because it feels like it transforms their cars out of nowhere. Not into like actual people cars, but like their cars can transform into different modes. And basically, I guess the modes are like, one is like a smooth one, and then one is a spikier one, is if I could figure out which one.
So like sheath and sword mode, would you say?
Sure.
Are these car swords?
Are the car swords, Nick?
Guys, no, that's ridiculous. The roads that they're driving on are swords.
Look, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 7 times, it's fucking magic swords again.
I fool you 3 times, and suddenly, like a year later, like it's still like, is it fucking magic swords?
This Magisword's flinch reflex. Is it going to be a cactus, Nick?
You guys have like flashback, like things of like, hey, don't trigger me. Is there any swords in this? Are there is there magic? Are they combined? Don't you fucking talk to me about magic swords.
Look, there was a time when we legitimately thought this sequence would just be you giving us magic swords over and over again, like Janet giving Michael the cactus on The Good Place.
Yeah, there was at least 2 weeks where I was like, I can't prove that he's not just going to give us magic swords.
It's every week, yep.
This one isn't magic swords, guys. This one is basically more like magic cars or something.
Okay, all right.
It has great characters called Spike Wheel, and one of my favorites, Dull Bozer, which is a guy that drives a bulldozer, but he's so dumb that it might actually be concerning, like on like, oh, are we beating up someone that's mentally a child in like these death car races? Because he's a pretty good racer for a guy that can't seem to count to like 8.
I don't want to interrupt too much. I haven't seen all the Cars sequels. This is just Cars 3? Is this what happens in Cars 3?
Is there a
Mater?
Cars 3? You said there was a Cars 3. I don't know.
They're inevitable, so if enough time has passed, there's got to be another Cars movie,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, right.
I haven't seen any of them, but I assume they keep happening.
No, this is the Japanese Cars. This is Mitsubishi.
Oh, okay.
Is Titane not a Cars movie? I thought they were just getting weirdly realistic like Lightyear. I think Titane is a Cars movie. Canonically, from here forward,
Sure. Yeah.
I am saying that Titane is a Cars movie.
Sure. I
Anyway,
always love
please continue.
there's a moment where you guys take over Stranger Than Fanfiction and make up your own thing. Which is always
You
great.
can't prove we're not making it up.
I think I can. So everyone's got a car, they got their own little special abilities and different modes or whatever. One is a like Barbie style Dreamhouse car that is pretty cool. And its driver, of course, is this like blonde kind of ditzy girl. Her secondary mode is some sort of gaseous thing. She like pours out toxic gas out from behind her car, or like smoke screens or stuff like that. It's basically some sort of gas power. And I want you to remember that upcoming in a minute, because I'm going to bring that back up for that driver that's called Hannah. And, you know, let's see, what else is on there? There's some other weird cars. The cops in it are like robot cops. They're like kind of like I think they might be cyborgs that when they kill them they bleed, or maybe it's oil, maybe it's red oil. I don't know, but they're close enough to robots so it's not supposed to be sad when they mercilessly kill them for trying to, you know, stop them from doing these dangerous races and putting children at risk. Because there's a lot of children driving these cars, and as said before, mental children at least. So, but yeah, what else? I feel like I'm forgetting one racer here, but I didn't write absolutely everybody down because there's a lot of episodes, and each episode features a new weird-ass racer. But not all of them have a very interesting car, which some of them are just psychotic. So, let's see what else. Oh! That's it. I remember. The one of them doesn't drive a car. He drives a Ferris wheel.
Sure.
A Ferris wheel that's secondary mode is a fire Ferris wheel that like kind of like goes like a rotating crusher thing that crushes cars underneath it as it goes along.
Mm-hmm. Like you do.
I love everything about this.
Don't ask me the physics of it or anything. The guy, I think he's like a circus. Damn it, the leader's head of the circus
ringmaster.
Ringleader. That's it. Yes.
Ringmaster.
Ringmaster.
Which I thought Ferris wheel, shouldn't he be a carny or something? But no, he's a ringleader, like showman. Oh, okay.
Carny's pejorative.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. No, that makes more sense, I guess. I would have loved it more if he had been played by Hugh Jackman. That would have been pretty cool.
Yes.
Show person?
Of course.
That dude's got range.
Now I desperately want to see the section of Transformers. How have we never minded this? I want the Transformers that are disguising themselves as those rickety put together fucking parking lot festival rides.
Oh,
They'd be
yeah.
real hard for the other bots to deal with, like the Decepticons. Like they're just not in anybody's plan. They're just making a little money moving the fuck on.
Yeah.
They got a bunch of humans that have assembled them from broken other Autobots and shit. They just spin real fast with like teacups and all kinds of crap.
The zipper, the gravitron.
Yes. It's just one human that comes out every once in a while and vomits. It's Marky Mark.
Again, we've made another show that I want to watch. But guys, here's the reason that this one is on the docket for today, and it is because of the
Barricons? That's taken.
The woman that drives the gas car, because apparently her name was changed in the American dub version, because I knew her as Hannah for the longest time. Hannah something last name, I don't know, maybe car related, I don't give a shit. But her name in Japanese apparently is Holly, and I didn't know why they changed it, so I went back to look at the cast list, and well, it's because her last name is Cost in the Japanese version.
Okay.
So they named a character Holly Cost, and her car gasses people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You see the problem here? You see
no.
where the issue might have been?
Yes, I
hear it.
do.
I hear it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. Yep.
So I was like, oh
Wow.
my god.
Wow.
Wow. Oh wow. Oh wow.
And that makes her character, like her bubbly Barbie type personality, so much more disturbing to me that I know that was the basis of her character.
Holy fuck.
It's Genocide Barbie,
Holy shit.
complete with
Wow.
concentration camp playset.
That's just not great.
I'm
That's
stunned.
really not good.
Is it not great, or is it the best thing in the? It's not great.
No, it's not
How
great.
many? I mean,
It's not
most
great.
animes have like 2,000 episodes. How many episodes are there of this?
Only 26.
I mean, by anime standards, that is like an 8-episode show. That's a British model.
That's like a pilot. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want to commit too hard until they knew Holocaust was really gonna.
We ordered it to series 500 episodes.
Somewhere there's a whole Japanese warehouse full of Holocaust dolls that didn't move. Hold on a second, I gotta make a quick eBay search for no apparent reason.
Oh god, man. Your Facebook ads are gonna get so fucking weird.
I know, it's gonna be real bad, but I think it's gonna be worth it. Okay, well,
All right, while Nick ruins his Google.
while I ruined my Google search, was this a horrible production meeting idea I had trying to pitch a new Barbie line? Or is the truth indeed stranger than fanfiction?
Okay, I believe you made this up because Dullbozer.
I think the God, I hope that Holocaust isn't something you made up, but I think it might be. I think you made this up too.
Well, I'm making a bid right now. 1 second.
Oh god.
We've been spectacularly bad at picking these out lists. We have been. Our average is real bad.
All right, I'm back. What were you guys? What was your
All right,
guess?
we both think you made this up because Dullbozer and yeah.
We say we made it up, but as always, I hope you didn't make it up.
All right, well, guys, this show is made up. I made up Holocaust.
Yes. Okay, yes. God, thank you so much. But
So
also,
I felt like Holocaust
why?
was just there to make us think that it was pushed over the edge. But Dullbozer is so good that I was hoping you made the show up so that we can steal it for some other thing.
Dullbozer.
Like I have Dullbozer written on a piece of paper next to me now. So like Tina Fey style, like that's mine. That's mine now, and I'll kill you. I'll chase you down and kill.
Pixar's got to be looking for a script for Cars 4 by this point, guys. It's just an opportunity waiting to happen.
Oh,
Dullbozer.
it's Mater's long lost cousin, Dullbozer.
Yes, Dullbozer. He's the country cousin.
Yeah,
guess
they don't
Mater's
like.
the
They
country
didn't
cousin.
like Mater. They thought he was too, uppity and like, oh, him and his book learning.
I feel like Dullbozer just rolls out catchphrase.
Yes. Yep.
Also, Les, I made up Holocaust for another thing we were working on with Anne Frankenstein.
I honestly, the only reason I thought you'd made all this up is because we had a really long Anne Frankenstein discussion the other day.
Oh no. Oh no.
Really makes you wonder who's the monster.
It's us.
It's
yeah,
all
it's
nuts.
definitely you guys.
Wipe out! Wipe out! Wipe out! Wipe out! Wipe out!
All right, let's talk about our TV Diaries for the week, which, as we referred to earlier, maybe a little sad this week. Les, why don't
Regular
you go
sad or
first?
Holocaust sad?
Regular sad.
I don't think American Girls are going to make that doll.
The British ones, though.
They do excel at orphans. That's a Ted Lasso junk. Please don't hunt me down for this. So that entire segment actually feeds really well into what I'm about to. I watched The
How?
Hunt again this week.
Oh, The Hunt. I've been meaning to watch The Hunt.
Oh yeah, because Betty Gilpin deserves to have like a Kurt Russell level action movie career, in my opinion. Like we should put her in a ton of Snake Plissken type shit.
By the way, I keep thinking, and I guess probably we'd know by now, but Betty Gilpin isn't in some way related to Perry Gilpin from Frasier, right?
I have no idea.
I'm looking it up because, no, she's the daughter of actor Jack Gilpin, who is, I don't think, really, unless he's like also the dad of Roz. It's an unusual name, but apparently no relation.
She is absolutely amazing. I mean, the movie overall is whatever. Like, she absolutely makes it. Punisher Warzone, I also rewatched, which I hadn't seen in years. It feels like it's still definitely from an earlier time where they hadn't quite locked down how to fully commit to telling comic book stories.
With Jigsaw.
But I still really liked it. Like, there's several scenes where a character is given, I don't know, like 15 minutes worth of emotional beats to hit in like 2. and Julie Benz, like, she does the Lord's work, but there's a couple of scenes where like she's required to say like 3 scenes worth of shit in a minute flat while holding a gun on Frank Castle.
Oh, Dexter's girlfriend.
And yes, and it's like, well, you know, you're doing as well as anybody else in this. I feel like she got stuck with a couple of crap scenes.
Who's the Punisher in Punisher Warzone? Who's the Punisher?
Ray. He's the big dude from Rome.
Yeah. I do like that guy.
Ray Winstone?
Nope, not Ray Winstone.
No,
he's
that's an older,
guy.
short British dude or Australian dude. But Ray something. He's honestly, I liked it. Micro is Wayne Knight, and Soap's in it. Like there's a lot of like this great Punisher character. Everybody's overplaying it a little bit.
A little bit,
but I mean, a little bit more than it can bear.
you what do you mean, like with characters called Looney Bin Jim?
Yes, who does it great. Yeah, there's just every once in a while where like they roll it a little past what even this can bear on ridiculousness. But the color in the movie, like everything, there's so much cool shit happening. And also, I rarely like the Punisher, but this movie really, like, it has a whole subplot with he accidentally kills a cop in the field because he's not supposed to be there, so he didn't know there were cops there. And he accidentally shoots a cop, and like you watch Punisher. So like they actually correctly get into the morality, and they get into some of the problems with other people justifying him to him, and the violence is crazy. He punches through a dude's face, like through it. What We Do in the Shadows style, like. So yeah, absolutely enjoyed watching that again. Some Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which are far less Punisher-y. 30 Rock. Lisa started watching the Death Valley side of the AHS American Horror Story season, and so I watched the first episode of that. I still love their Mamie and Ike. It's just great.
Would you say that you like Ike?
I do like Ike.
I like Ike too. But from what I hear, everybody likes Ike.
Everybody likes Ike.
Nah, fuck Ike.
Damn.
No, doesn't seem like Mamie liked Jackie Kennedy.
It's a hard stance Randy's taking on Eisenhower.
Yeah.
Look, I just like to keep things interesting.
And then I watched The Harder They Fall over on Netflix, which was fucking awesome. And we will discuss in a bit.
I'll talk about what I watched, and that was the highlight of everything I watched this week was Harder They Fall. I was excited about it because I like a good Western, and I knew it starred a bunch of sort of like good actors playing real characters we haven't seen much. Everybody knows Bass Reeves, of course, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, because he was shown in, I think Watchmen did something with Bass Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
Inspiration for the Lone Ranger.
Don't Worry, Lindo playing Bass Reeves is great, but also Jonathan Majors? Yeah, as Nat Love, a character I did not know as much. Idris Elba playing Rufus Buck, again, another character I, didn't know much about.
Zazie Beetz, look those guys up.
Zazie Beetz as Stagecoach Mary, which there's been a little controversy about whether or not she was too pretty to play Stagecoach Mary, which there's an interesting thing to be had there. And then on Rufus Buck's crew, you've got Cherokee Bill, played by Lakeith Stanfield, who, as always, just basically steals the whole movie.
I'd watch a whole movie just with Cherokee Bill, with the Cherokee Bill
Yeah,
character.
same. And then Regina King playing Trudy.
Treacherous Trudy.
Treacherous Trudy. Man, I love the shit. This had all the style and sort of and balls of something like a Tarantino movie without being a white guy who desperately wants to say the N-word for 45 minutes.
Yeah, you feel kind of like that point where someone almost says the N-word in the beginning of the movie and they get shot in the face.
You think it might have been a statement?
Oh my god!
Hey, he might have not been saying. He could have said nincompoop, like, "Well, we're not nincompoops." And if they say anything that even starts with N, we're fucking going down.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
It kind of like a shot right at Tarantino. Like,
It did, yeah.
No, we're not doing that here.
The real Cherokee Bill is from San Angelo, Texas, not too far from where we are right now, and Cuffy is also based on a real person, Kathy Williams.
Yeah. Oh, Cuffy was great.
Call me Cuffy.
And the real Kathy Williams pretended to be a man and joined the U.S. military for 3 years.
Oh wow. Yeah. So
during the American Indian War.
Oh my God! You talking like there's a freaking a Black Mulan? That's awesome.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. This was super fun.
On the I read that article. I think you shared it on, or I'd seen the article where they were bringing up to the director that Zazie Beetz is substantially lighter skinned than the real Stagecoach Mary, and I really liked his reaction to it, which was to say thank you. Like literally started it with thank you. I've been pointing this out in movies and really want this pointed out in movies. Also, there's a lot of liberties we took. Stagecoach Mary did none of the things we did in this movie.
Right.
Like, these are technically real people, but not. And also, I think he pointed out that Cherokee Bill generally could pass as white. He was mixed, very mixed race. And that Lakeith Stanfield absolutely can't. So, so it was just like, where... Am I getting praise on that end? I mean, he didn't say that, but it was like he kind of pointed it out of like, look, nobody looks like their person. Rufus Buck died when he was 18.
I was gonna say Rufus Buck was not Idris Elba's age. He never got to that age.
But I like that he acknowledged that, like, I'm not swatting you down from pointing this stuff out about movies. Please keep pointing this stuff out about movies. I did too.
I like that he basically was like, yes, thank you for the criticism. It's totally fair. Here's what my thinking was.
Here's why I ignored you.
I'm all about that. Yeah.
Here's why I ignored you. But yes.
But like. The soundtrack is fucking awesome. The use of like modern hip hop was fantastic.
Yep.
I thought the shootouts and that kind of thing were really well done. The characters are so well done. The character arcs are like there's a whole bunch of character arcs in this. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I didn't feel like anybody got short shrift. I thought the surprising kill. Who's the guy who's like their fast draw guy? I can't remember his name. Beckworth.
Yeah.
Beckworth. The way he went out, I did not see coming.
Did you not?
I totally did.
I did not see that coming.
They hardcore telegraphed that the entire movie of Cherokee Bill is like, I don't play those games.
Get you killed.
I don't. Yeah. No, it's about who's alive and who's
honestly,
dead.
I thought Cherokee Bill was going to shoot him when he unloaded the gun and put in the bullet.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to shoot him while he was putting the bullet in. We were going to be looking at Cherokee's name on the side of a bullet when the kid gets shot.
Well, and I think that's why it worked for me because I thought, oh, they've
already passed their moment.
Yeah. I thought they passed their moment. So yeah, they faked me out on that.
I loved playing it the other way then later when they have Cuffy's thing come full circle, like they call back to like no one sees me coming, and consequently Lakeith like Cherokee Bill is so what the fuck ever, to the point that he does play the game with Cuffy, and puts his gun back in the holster and waits for the stupid count and doesn't even get his gun out of the holster. Or he's that fast.
And it's the same thing. It's like we were told early on that Cuffy said, like, I see I see something faster in the mirror, and we all think it's just like bullshit that Cuffy's just kind of talking shit. And I like that they paid that off.
No, I thought she was for real because as soon as Cuffy like beats that dude with a fucking
that
knuckle
was
duster, like I was like, okay, this chick is for
Oh.
real. Like she's not playing around.
That shot of her slip, I don't know Cuffy's pronoun, I guess is.
I thought Cuffy was. I mean, I thought
They refer to her as she is in the movie.
Okay, that's what I couldn't remember offhand, but they play it kind of both ways. I mean, her putting a dress on was a big deal in the movie.
Yeah.
But that shot of slipping that brass knuckle down the
knuckles.
sleeve was so
Yes.
smooth,
Yeah.
and the look on that guy's face. That punch out was great, but I think one of my favorite points in the entire movie is Stagecoach Mary punching Nat in the face
Yeah.
and him trying to play it off
Uh-huh.
and not being able to and hitting the floor. Like there's a moment where I was like, Jonathan Majors, there needs to be a separate Academy Award for that.
Yeah.
Though I was sold on this movie so I'm not a huge Western fan. I grew up with Westerns being second only to football for the thing an adult could ruin a television with fastest. Like, walk in, take over whatever the fuck you were watching. Like, Captain Power would be preferable to literally like any episode of The Rifleman or football. And so it took a long time. I think Tombstone was the first time that I enjoyed a Western, which
Yeah.
doesn't quite fit the mold really. It's kind of more of a superhero movie.
Well, this feels like Tombstone or something like that.
But this felt like from the opening. I've since come to love Fistful of Dollars and like all of those, like Sergio, like the Italian Westerns. And the opening of this like had a good, bad, and ugly vibe when they froze on the shots and threw the title up.
Yep.
I had a moment of like, oh, cool. I know what kind of movies you love and what we're in for now.
Yeah.
Like what you're about to do. And like there was a immediate trust of like, this is going to be cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be real cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I had the same reaction, that sort of the like the music and those title cards and that kind of thing. I'm like, oh, okay, you're doing something stylized and I'm here for it. But yeah, I just a fantastic cast, really, really well shot. Like I was very surprised by how much I enjoyed this. It might be my favorite movie I've seen this year. It's up there with Free Guy.
It's definitely up there. Nick and I were discussing this the other day. Like everybody just kind of hangs loose for the second act, and it gets by on pure style.
The movie is so cool, you forget that there's not anything going on in the second act.
About the time that I realized, like, is everybody just kind of hanging loose in their position for the? Oh, and here we go.
Because everyone knows where everyone is by the time the second act starts, as far as the gangs and who's locale and who wants to kill who. So everyone kind of just has to screw around for like 30 minutes before the
it's so cool
before the final act. Because in the final act they bring that money that they blow up anyway. So you realize they didn't have to do that heist in the second act at all.
No.
So
could have had newspaper in there.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Sears catalogs,
it really
whatever.
didn't matter. So
but it was cool.
But it was cool. No, don't get me wrong. Like it's getting by on its coolness, but structurally, it's hiding a lot of structural weakness in that middle part.
Well, and also having Mary go in to the town made no sense. So
they
everybody,
outright say it makes no sense.
Everybody will know you.
Then have her do it anyway, so that she can get kidnapped for most of the movie.
Right, and no one was like, "Hey, what about Cuffy?" Nobody knows. Literally, no one knows Cuffy. Why don't we send her in?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the character whose whole thing is no one sees me coming and no one notices me?
Yeah. But again, all this stuff just slides right on by because it's so stylish
really
and cool. Yeah. It was something I really loved watching.
Yeah.
I watched The Mummy for the first time in many years. Watched it with the Brendan Fraser commentary, which is delightful, and I highly recommend.
It's just him alone in the.
It's just him alone. It's just him alone watching The Mummy with you. If I got a bunch of people together, we watched it. If you have the Blu-ray, it's totally worth it. If you don't, it's like $10. Just get it and watch it.
I have heard that this particular narration, like this particular track, is just like the world's nicest guy telling you every weird little secret about the Mummy. I heard he names a shitload of crew,
he does. He does that, but also it's like he winces when guys get hit. He's like, "Oh, ouch!" It's like he is enjoying watching the movie with you. It's a blast. All commentary should be like this. Like it's what you imagine Paul Rudd would do if he came and watched the movie with you. It's just delightful fun.
Oh my god! I mean, why during pandemic did someone not? Maybe they did. Maybe they just haven't come out yet. Someone should have during the pandemic paid Paul Rudd to watch every movie he's in.
Yes.
And just record a commentary.
I think you mean World's Sexiest Man, Paul Rudd.
Oh my god! Did he win that?
Yeah, he is Time's Sexiest Man of the Year.
I didn't even know Time did that.
I think it's yeah.
Feels like a People kind of thing.
Or maybe it's People. I don't know. One of those magazines.
I don't know what magazines do now. I mean, I could see Time going, we got to do something. Make a Sexiest Man issue.
He beat all the Chris's?
He beat all the Chris's.
There's not a Chris on the planet sexier than Paul Rudd.
Damn.
Wow.
I also went to the theater and saw The Eternals, which, based on the reviews, you would think is the worst movie ever made by Marvel. It is, in fact, the 30th worst movie made by Marvel, which is not the very bottom. It's fine. It is probably a 2.5-star movie. It's got a really good cast. It's got some good action. It sets up some new stuff. But in the same way that Shang-Chi was sort of a sort of a starting point, this is a starting point. It does not feel like, it doesn't have the scope that Marvel had built up to. And I think the problem is that Endgame really was the end game. And now we're at a place where they're back to another Phase 4 is basically another Phase 1.
Yeah, but Eternals is an Iron Man.
And I think, well, yeah, that's the thing, is Eternals aren't Iron Man. But they did a good job. They give each of these characters an arc. They made them all fairly interesting, which Kirby never managed to do. And the post-credit sequences honestly raised the whole thing at least another star.
If you know who the fuck they are.
I won't spoil it for you, but I was delighted. It's a couple of my favorites. So, yeah, I recommend people see this. I think it's a good starting place for Marvel's next phase. I do think of the 3 movies Marvel's put out this year, it is the weakest. But I don't think it's not Thor: Dark World or Iron Man 2 level bad here. It's just kind of solid movie making. As for things that were actually on television, I'm still loving Top Shelf Family Style. I think I talk about this every week, but for some reason it hits that bit of dopamine that I always get from watching Top Chef, where that always becomes like a must watch, and combines it with this wholesomeness of these kids and their aunts, dads, sisters, whatever, cooking with them. And you can tell that everyone who's there is just utterly charmed by these kids. And at the same time, these kids are serving up food that's better than anything anyone I know has ever cooked. They had Restaurant Wars for Top Chef kids. It was amazing. I loved it.
I don't really what is Restaurant Wars?
So Restaurant Wars is the big thing they do every time. It's like a big thing on Top Chef, where basically they break up into teams, and they each have a restaurant that they have to build overnight. So they get a design firm that designs a space. They basically each build a pop-up restaurant for the night, and they have people come in and they have a full menu, and then they have to serve that menu to people. And it's basically they not only are they doing the cooking, but someone has to be front of house and someone has to be expediter, so they get all the pressure of actual chefing.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the franchise wars and Demolition Man. These kids had Taco Bell won the entire franchise wars. Now all restaurants are Taco Bell.
We all know the Taco Bell wins. No, this is great. I need to get Kyle or Grant on here because I feel like this is me talking anime at you guys. I also watched the next 3 episodes of Love Life. I forgot that they dropped that 3 episodes at a time. I'm still digging it. It's not as good as this first season was for me, but it's William Jackson Harper and it's Jessica Williams is pretty heavily involved in it, and it's solid. I'm enjoying it. It's not going to be for everybody. Definitely not for less, but I'm enjoying it. I watched 3 episodes of Taste the Nation with Padma Lakshmi, also from Top Chef, and it's her holiday edition.
Oh my God, Taste the Nation. Randy, I know you're about to describe to me another cooking tasting show, but Taste the Nation sounds like something that I should be talking about. It's
It does have a lick a doorknob quality to the name.
It does. This is her very sincere going to immigrant cultures and talking about their food and how it's been assimilated into America, and how basically this show started in the tail end of the Trump era. And it was basically about showing the Hulu people, hey, you know how there are immigrants you like and some of them make your food? And now
Here's that food.
It feels a little unnecessary and yet still necessary. And this is all holidays. So the first one's about Jewish cooking and Hanukkah. Another one is about Native American cuisine and how it what Thanksgiving does. So it's this bit of liberal guilt mixed with food education for you.
Yeah, I think that's just going to make me miss Bourdain more.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't hit the way I wanted it to.
The secret ingredient in this dish is liberal tears.
It hit differently for me when Trump was in office. I was like, yeah, fuck you. But now I'm just like, this feels like work to me. I don't want to watch this right now.
I do want to watch a tall, cynical, drunk chef just wander through foreign cultures eating food that looks awful to me. I
Yeah,
don't know why that was endlessly fascinating, but I think the only food show I've ever watched a
Yeah, we
shitload
missed-
of is
we missed
various Bourdain things.
Bourdain. I mean, I like Dave Chang. I like his stuff. I like Roy Choi, but it's a whole different point of view. Like Bourdain was a person unto himself, and it's hard to get that same thing. Close you can get is Phil eats who's feeding Phil.
Somebody feed Phil.
Somebody
yeah.
feed Phil, which is a different thing, but it's closer. I watched latest episodes of Ghosts and Wonder Years, which I am warming to both. Ghosts had an actual like emotional story beat this time, which kind of surprised me. And I enjoyed that. I also really enjoyed the Native American Ghost and the Norse Ghost watching a reality show called It's Getting Hot in Here, which is about hot singles living in a house covered in fur so you can't see what their body looks like. And then each episode, the temperature goes up 1 degree and they start taking off clothes until eventually you find out who was actually hot or not.
Wait, didn't they actually?
That has to be real, right?
That could be real.
That's a hard.
could be
That's a hard
real.
thing to parody those reality shows because I swear to God, I heard something that sounds almost exactly like that.
I know, right? I know. I watched the latest episode of Doom Patrol, which I think you guys are both behind on, so I cannot talk about the bonkers shit that happened this week. But man,
Yeah, go
They have
ahead. It's
gone
not like I'm going to
full on-
understand it anyway.
they've gone full on weird in this. Like they are just not giving a fuck about.
Weirder
did it-
than zombie werebutts.
Yeah, actually, at least in the ballpark, there's a thing with Madame Rouge that was disturbing and weird and funny, and I was laughing my ass off.
I love
it's-
Doom Patrol. I don't know how they got that. I feel like everybody was in the bathroom when
Yeah.
they greenlit that show, and like it's like how Andy Milonakis had a show. Like I just don't know how Doom Patrol's on the air.
I also watched the latest episode of Young Justice, which is good and sad. That's just at this point.
Really?
we were talking about this off mic that
Sad, dude.
it's almost
sad. Young Justice.
It's
you
almost
said.
hilarious how sad it is. It's like yes, these are about young adult crime fighters, but also one of them was crippled and hidden away by Lex Luthor, and two of them are dead, and yeah, it's just mopey, but it's also really good.
Here's 20 minutes of superhero punch fight, and then 2 minutes of sad piano music while someone sobs.
Yeah.
This time they have a nice, what was it, a Tennyson quote or something? I forget what they go. No, wait.
Yeah. No, it was
Dickinson,
oh, man.
maybe?
Yes. Yeah, I think you might be right. Yeah, there's a sad poem that she reads at the end.
Yeah.
The post-credit sequence or the credit sequences almost feel like a different show.
Are they fucking with you? I think they are.
I think they
Like,
may be fucking with me.
I think they're trolling the audience.
They're made by the lesser known Legion of Superhero member, Cut Your Arm Boy.
Yes.
I caught up on Last Week Tonight, which, as always, makes me enraged and sad, and also was funny. Texas was mentioned twice in those 3 episodes that I watched, which is great. Always good to make Last Week Tonight. Always great. Austin specifically for the shit way that we handle our homeless problem, which is to say that
tracks.
a shit group named Save Austin Now got everybody to vote for criminalizing homelessness, which is just, of course, fucking terrific, and solved nothing. So that was great to see portrayed.
Dare you not have a home,
Yes,
you
yeah.
bastards.
Yeah. I might have yelled, "Shut the fuck up, you NIMBY bastard," at the TV a few times. It's
Yep.
God.
Last Week Tonight's good for that.
Well, I hear that you're about to outlaw children for being hungry too. So yeah, get those bastards.
They gotta learn.
They gotta learn to just live with it.
Look, if they can't cook a 5-course meal on top shelf family style,
Oh.
they deserve to be hungry.
The children, they can hunt down and eat the homeless. There, 2 problems solved.
Yes, problem solved. I also watched 2 episodes of The Animaniacs, and it made 0 impression on me. So I felt like maybe it was the wrong time to be watching it. And then I watched 2 episodes of Arcane, which also made 0 impression on me. But Nick, you watched both of those.
I did. Arcane made a bit more of an impression on me in the fact that I like the animation style of it. I guess when I say that I don't like 3D animation, I guess I have to be specific, and I don't like cheap 3D animation.
What you mean is you don't like Clone Wars, just you don't like Star Wars animation.
I don't like Clone Wars. I don't like that new Star Trek one. I don't like the 3D one they did with Batman. I don't like the Green Lantern 3D one. I don't like the I don't like almost any 3D other than the ones they spend a fuck ton of money in order to. And yeah, Arcane is based off of the League of Legends game, which I don't play, so it was got to be a whole new pantheon of characters and lore, which was kind of interesting. I like the idea of like this magic academy, these street ruffian kids, this deal that they have with the upper crust to kind of keep like a lid on things. The third episode, it gets a little bit heavy-handed with exactly the break between the two sibling characters for the next part. Like, it comes out in 3 episodes at like 3 episode chunks apparently, which is a pretty weird release model for Netflix.
They keep doing these odd like book one groupings, and I
Yeah.
don't get it, but whatever.
Yeah, it's certainly not a TV show. They call it a limited series or something, an animated limited series. I don't know what the difference is. But Animaniacs, I watched like 5 episodes of that, and I think, it's hard to really point out exactly where the remake of the Animaniacs is kind of like not hitting or something, but I feel like the first episode back, they're doing this whole Roman Emperor parody of Trump. What was his, like, what were they doing?
Oh yeah, and it was clumsy and awful.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
really
was it Nero? It might have been. It wasn't Nero, but it was.
something like that.
That might have been Nero. I don't know.
Caligula or something.
No, they
Yeah.
mentioned Caligula, that was one of his patrons or something. I forget, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's really on the nose, and like, oh, I throw the best games, the best, like the best games are mine, and it's like, this is really clumsy, and also it speaks to of like a writing room that was like 2 to 3 years ago, which is like, because I've thankfully not thought about Trump for a long time now. Like, he's in the background and away.
I mean, those eps came out while he was in, or at least that one did while he was in office.
Not that one.
But it's still.
This is the new season. Season 2 is what I'm thinking of.
They did that again
Yeah, they did it again.
because they did Trump on like baby Trump on the island in the. Are you shitting me?
Exactly,
Yeah.
Les. They did it in the first episode
Yeah.
of season 1 as well. They did it on the season.
Yeah.
They did it on episode 1 of season 2.
Here's the
Okay.
thing: you got to
Cool.
remember that all these guys, when they were making these, they all thought Trump was going to win re-election. Like, I am
It's still not a
100%
great reason to-
certain that when
Oh
they
my
were
God.
doing this, they were like, "Oh yeah, we should definitely be making fun of Trump still because he's still going to be president, and we're going to need these laughs." And I can get behind that.
It would have been at least better if you either one, if he was in office and he was relevant, or 2, if the jokes were a little bit better written and more clever than a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff we've already heard. Because honestly, if Trump really isn't in my viewpoint, making fun of him is kind of like low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we've all done everything. Trump is a joke everyone's done now. We're over him. Up until like when he runs for re-election, God.
There's a weird runner with the the lady network executive and her being like mean. Like, I feel like somebody really hurt them. Some network executive really hurt them, and they're going to take all their shots at her.
Yeah.
And it feels weird.
At least she was one of the new characters I did like. And I don't know, there's some beats missing here as far as they keep bringing up old shit, like when they're half of that thing with the where they're pretending to be a boy band, they keep mentioning their old songs, like oh yeah, we can do some like our own songs, or mentioning
Yeah.
how the no one gets the new one or whatever. I'm like, guys, just be your own fucking thing. Just stop.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, and I hate to say this, I don't like to admit this, but Pinky and the Brain may have gotten boring. I don't know if there's any more mileage to be gotten into Pinky and the Brain.
well, after the first episode back where they put a button on how abusive that relationship is, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, well, once you do that, it's kind of makes this not as fun to watch anymore.
Yeah. It feels like and I was disappointed, I think, because they came back so strong with the reboot. Like, I thought that those were really good episodes, and this felt like a different creative team. It just didn't work.
I felt like it was the same creative team making the same jokes over and over again. Like, the
Maybe
real
that's
problem is
it.
I felt it wasn't a very inspired.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I really I made me miss the old sketches like Good Feathers and Slappy the Squirrel, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I also watched Harder They Fall, which reminded me, like, also made me go back and watch some Buster Scruggs and Deadwood, because I love how Western people talk. Like, of course, this is like movie Western people. Actual people in the West probably did not talk like Shakespeare, trying to tell you how much how much you're a motherfucker, in the most flowery way possible.
There's just something about Deadwood's blend of like, I want to talk like Shakespeare, but I was educated in a one-room schoolhouse, and a third of the word it's our cocksucker.
Yeah.
Wherefore
Yeah,
art
Like
thou,
this just
cocksucker?
blend of like EB's idiocy, but as flowery as possible, but with this Dunning-Kruger language thing going on.
It really does feel like someone like made a huge flowery speech, and then there was another guy whose job was just to put swears in it.
Yeah.
Like, there was the
Like
swear
the dumbest
pass.
hype man ever jumps out like a prospector hype man. Ski-daddle!
Me, I was the cocksucker guy on Deadwood, in the Deadwood writing room. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a last pass where we had a computer algorithm take a third of the words out and randomly
Put in
insert
cocksucker.
cocksucker.
Genius.
By the way, you do not want to have cocksucker guy on your resume. It's gonna skew things. It's gonna
Yeah.
skew things.
Depending on what you're going for job-wise.
That's true.
Well,
That's true.
You know, online search. Pandemic was tough. Online searching for that job is hard. I mean, you go on Google and search, cocksucker guy job. It won't take you to LinkedIn. I'm telling you.
Les, I already looked up Holly Cost today. I'm not gonna.
No. Let's send in things for Nick to look at.
I'm not fucking up my algorithm any more than it
Every
already
week,
is.
Nick Googles something that ruins his algorithm, and at the end of the year, we're just going to screenshot his Facebook ads. What is Wish.com? What is Wink.com? Whatever thing you fucking want.
What was I talking about? Yeah, what was it?
You were talking about Deadwood. Deadwood is where we.
Yeah. I also watched The Eternals. Yeah, I think, Randy, you said that the problem might be that this feels like when they're a phase they're trying to build back up. I kind of wish that was the problem. I feel like this is just structurally not sound. It's a 2.5-hour movie that obviously needs a lot of fat cut from it, but they didn't because this is an art director, and they didn't want to, they wanted to let her do her own thing, which is fine. But it's also exactly what DC does, of like, oh no, do your own thing, be an auteur, and I'm like, don't fucking do that.
I get that.
And you gotta cut like 2 or 3 of these characters and get rid of them, especially when 2 of them, when the twist happens, it turns out that have powers that directly conflict with their purpose. Like, we're not supposed to directly conflict with or directly interfere with any human conflicts, but we'll have a guy whose whole power is to take control over humans and take away their free will. Well, what's he supposed to do for 1,000 years? Nothing? Like, it really is. Some of these guys are like here because they are Eternals in the comics and no other reason. And some characters don't even get character arcs, much less full character arcs. Like,
Yeah.
Kiel Nanjiani just pieces out for the 3rd act, and on one level it's cool of like a philosophical difference between him and the team, but also like, oh, but maybe we don't want another powered dude in the 3rd act confusing a bunch of shit, because we need to get this thing done. Like, when you're an hour and 20 minutes in and you realized you haven't met all the Eternals yet in the modern time, I'm like, oh, fuck. We are so off the rails here. But like Randy said, it's only bad by Marvel standards, which by that, I mean, it's better than almost every other superhero movie ever made. And is still better than I'm pretty sure anything DC's ever made. So
that is, okay. I will say, I think Birds of Prey might be better.
That's not true.
But it's the
I
only
realize
thing.
you feel like that, but as structurally weak as this one is, Birds of Prey is structurally weaker, is just cooler.
But it's fun. That's the thing. Like, this wasn't as fun.
And
as
see,
that,
that's where my thing is, Randy, is that you like superhero movies when they're fun and weird, don't have to make a lot of sense, and are just cool.
Marvel has a 30 movie formula for this.
That's where the Eternals makes the same mistakes that DC makes, is that, oh, we'll take this seriously. Don't do that. Don't take these characters seriously. Once you wear a cape, you sacrifice your right to be taken seriously.
No, I will always fight if you don't take them seriously, you wind up with shit. You have to take them at least a little bit seriously. Just don't take them too seriously.
Look, you got to do the Marvel thing where everyone complains how Marvel undercuts everything with a joke, so undercuts all tension with a joke. They do that on purpose. It's surgical, so that you don't have Eternals or Justice League, so that you're not sitting there thinking of, oh wait, no, that doesn't make any fucking sense. No, you are told not to take it seriously every, I want to say, 25 to 30 minutes with a undercutting joke of like, oh no, that don't take us that seriously. Not that, like, but seriously enough to where you can have fun, but not that seriously, because none of this makes really any fucking sense.
You didn't feel like Kamal Nanjiani's character did a lot of the lifting on that? I thought he brought a lot of lightness to it.
I also thought that you can cut his character and nothing changes. Plot-wise, story-wise.
That's true, but then you lose any sense of fun.
Just have one of the other 6 people be fun.
Then have one of the other 6 people whose story actually matters.
Look, you can't.
But there's a lot of characters. Surely you could be
have
rolled in.
Festos show up somewhere in the first act. Somewhere.
Guys, you can't ask Richard Madden to be fun. He's not capable of it. He's just not.
Brian Tyree Henry, I think he can be fun. I've seen him do it.
You can say, well, just don't cast Richard Madden then. And I say, that is correct. But that was never going to happen. And also, honestly, I love Gemma Chan. Gemma Chan plays Cersei, right?
Yeah.
I love Gemma Chan. I loved her in other things. Cersei is a fun, like, she's a fun-loving party girl, and they turned her into the most boring character ever. And that I don't know whose fault that is. But that was a problem.
What are you talking about? She has a character trait. I can't remember what it is, but I think they gave her one.
She likes people. That's her trait.
Sure.
Anyway, yes. Still, it's a 2.5-star movie. It's not the worst Marvel movie ever made. Because you guys, if you watch Thor: The Dark World, this is a fucking masterpiece compared to it.
I actually think this might be the 3rd worst Marvel movie ever made, though. Right behind...
No, because
Iron Man 2 and Thor: The Dark World, and then I can't remember. There's 30 of them at this point, so maybe not.
Iron Man 3 and the Incredible Hulk both have to be in those below tiers too.
I'll give you Incredible Hulk. That one is pretty weak. Iron Man 3 actually is structured as a 3-act movie and actually functions.
Iron Man 3 is a terrible Iron Man movie.
It's a funny Tony Stark movie and actually works that way. And it's a pretty good Shane Black movie.
It's a fun Shane Black movie. It does not belong in the MCU. Eternals at least is an MCU movie, and there it gets a nod.
Okay, we're going to have to disagree on that. Oh, although I will say Kit Harington has a great move in it where he's like, are you a wizard? Like, he just kind of...
Yeah, that was fun.
Because he lives in a world where there's just wizards and gods and space aliens.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, if you're a wizard, you can kind of just tell me, right? Like,
you can tell me, yeah.
It's not a huge deal. Like, and it really, it's fun to see, like, a citizen, like a side character just kind of go with it, like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. No, I live in a world where half of us came back, like, a year ago because of a fucking magic glove. Yeah, this makes sense to me.
Yeah, no. I want the Tony Shalhoub character in every Galaxy Quest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't that a thing?
That was a hell of a thing.
I think Eternals, there's a better Eternals movie that could have been made, but I don't know that there's a great Eternals movie that could have been made. So I guess I went in with expectations of like, well, at best I'm going to enjoy this, and I mostly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I as soon as they announced that they were going to do Eternals, it was like, did we learn nothing from...
Why? Why are you doing that?
From Inhumans? Like, these are... Only comic book nerds like these concepts. They are so heavy-handed that this is a really hard sell.
At least I sort of knew who the Inhumans were.
Yeah, I mean, the Eternals, I couldn't name a single one, and they've got fucked up names.
The Inhumans at least have a teleporting dog.
This is super Kirby-type stuff.
Yeah, this is... I mean, I'm the biggest comic book nerd you'll find, and I don't care about the Eternals at all. Neil Gaiman wrote Eternals, and I tried to read it, and I fell asleep reading it. It's real bad.
Yeah.
Like, where's my Psyforce? Give me some Psyhawk.
That Alpha Flight movie is right around the corner.
Look,
Power Pack.
I will absolutely see an Alpha Flight movie.
Oh, I'd go see a Power Pack movie too.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, don't you tease me with a Power Pack movie. Don't you threaten me with a good time.
Anyway, Nick, what else did you watch?
I don't remember at this point.
I saw you watched Dexter New Blood, which I thought was like a season, but then I heard it might be a movie, but then I heard it is a season. What's the deal with Dexter?
I thought it was a movie, but then I popped it on Apple Plus this morning, and it said a season 1, episode 1, and I was like, oh fuck.
That is the reaction. That is the reaction
you.
to finding out you're getting more Dexter. By the way,
That's how they get
I'm
you.
getting how much more Dexter? That's way more Dexter than I need.
Yeah, it's sad because I really have a hard time remember the time I really liked Dexter.
I love Dexter the first couple seasons.
Oh yeah, like it was one of my new favorite shows. Like it was like
Yeah.
I feel like 06, 07 around then, Dexter was
Yeah.
great.
yeah. And then
Is that when it started? I feel like Prison Break was really good back then too. I don't know what I fucking was watching in 2006.
Prison Break was pretty good when they were in a prison. You know, that one season.
First season.
But yeah, like there's like 4 seasons of good Dexter, or 2 seasons of great Dexter, 2 seasons of pretty good Dexter, and 4 seasons of shit. And so them coming back, I was like, ugh, come on, like just let it die. I don't care. So watching it back, there are still some problematic elements that they can't get rid of just because you can't. The same Clone Wars problem of like, well, you start from a template of some story shit that you got to take care of some of the stuff that doesn't work and try and rework it. And they play him like an addict that's recovering, and he hasn't killed anybody in 10 years. And he keeps having to ignore triggers. Like his girlfriend is a cop, so he keeps having to hear about like this new guy that's coming to town that might be up to no good. And he sells guns and knives at the store. And I'm like, okay, for an addict that doesn't want to, like, you sure picked a lot of like your relationship choices and your job choices sure give you a lot of triggers for wanting to kill people. Like,
Yeah, you could work at a Cinnabon.
yeah, like why not work at a Cinnabon?
You know, if this was a sneaky story about him working at Cinnabon alongside Saul in his yeah.
That would have been pretty good if Saul Goodman was there
that'd be a much better show. Yeah, ex criminal lawyer and ex serial killer working
You
together.
know, there's something weird about this guy that interviewed for the assistant manager position, but
A
I'm
wacky
gonna hire him.
a wacky comedy set in a Cinnabon with those two. That I would watch.
Maybe before we just didn't see the season where he worked at the Cinnabon, but that actually was more triggering somehow, and he actually killed his manager.
I mean, I don't know if you guys have worked retail much, but that tracks.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I
Waiting 3.
we make fun, but we've never worked in that Cinnabon.
That's true.
Yeah, the cinematography and how it's shot is very good. It's very beautiful as far as this. It's very different. It's in a kind of Alaskan town or something, like it's a much different setting than Miami, Florida. And they kind of use that as kind of this feel of like this small town. You can't get away with as much here because there's just everyone knows everything in this small town. It's part of why he moved here, to remove himself from temptation. And there are a lot of good elements like that I like. Okay, if I was to make a Dexter movie, like a Dexter season 10 years after the fact of the last one, these are some of the decisions I would make. Some of the decisions I wouldn't make were making his dead sister a ghost that he talks to.
Oh, I absolutely would make that decision. Yes. Does she curse all the time?
No.
And I was really trying to figure out how she was in the cast.
No, she's a ghost that talks to him and tells him how proud she is of him for not killing people. And then when he kills someone at the very end of the first episode, she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I maintain that Deborah Morgan is the worst fucking female character I have seen, like, on a show ever. They never knew what to do with her. Her arc every season was who she was dating. Like, that was her arc for that season.
And how consistently, like, worst on the planet level of choices.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And how she never had her shit together, and then she died in the last season, and who cares? And then they show up, like, Harrison, the kid, shows up. And I'm like, I guess we had to do this. but it's going to be a whole new thing of like Dexter trying to take care of his kid, and he's going to be trying to be Harry to this kid or something. And I don't know, like the long lost son thing is kind of just very soap opera-y and kind of just not what it was. One of the things I didn't like about the later seasons of Dexter.
I think it would have been more fun if there had just not been the kid in the new season, and they just pointedly like Dexter avoids explaining it,
Yeah.
so that you wonder for part of the season if like, did an accident happen out on the ice skating one spring?
Oh no,
Or-
you haven't seen the finale of the series finale of Dexter. He leaves that fucking kid. He leaves that kid in Miami to go and fake his death and go live as a lumberjack or
to
whatever.
do all this. I assumed he brought the kid with him. Yeah, I didn't finish out the last.
No,
season
he
of
leaves
Dexter.
it with Yvonne Strahovski, Sarah from Chuck.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the kid comes back looking for him, and I'm like, okay, if this small child can find you, I don't know how anyone else isn't able to find you, because this kid hasn't seen you since he was 5 years old.
Right. Did he at least notch a cross in his head so you could figure out which kid was yours when
So
it comes to Alaska?
Wait, let me get this straight. His dad is his dad played by, oh man, I'm blanking on the guy's name. He is no longer the ghost in his head. Now his sister is the ghost.
Now
in
his
his head?
sister is the ghost in his head. Yeah,
I'm actually okay with that change. I love Jennifer Carpenter in this role. I think that's great.
I think you're the only person.
Yeah, I think you're very alone on that.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to watch it. But in theory, if you were to
James
pitch that
Remar.
to me, James Remar.
Yeah.
In theory, if you were to pitch that to me, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds like Dexter.
Yeah, Jennifer Carpenter, I feel, is like one of the things that was consistently the worst on Dexter.
Oh, I love Jennifer Carpenter.
I do not. I would say it's not her fault that it's the character, but I also haven't seen her in anything else where she was good.
I will say this: if instead of his sister, it was the
Should have been Dukes.
no, that's pretty good too. I was trying to think who's Masuka. If it was C.S. Lee as Masuka as his ghost, just making inappropriate, dirty comments about the whole thing.
Well,
that's a better.
There's the slight problem that Masuka isn't dead.
No, I don't care. Kill him off. He's been 10 years. It should be everyone. It should be Angel.
He just appears and Dexter's like, but you're alive, Cancer.
Randy,
it should be.
My God, you're trying to ruin this for me so hard, because you know what the problem with any Dexter season is any character that isn't called Dexter.
That's true. But what if they were all ghosts, like in the Midsummer, the Neil Gaiman thing, where it's all the ghosts who've been killed and they're trying to get the other kid killed.
Stop.
You know what I'm talking about.
Ruining Dexter. It's already happened. You don't have to ruin it more.
No one else in the Alaskan town is real. What if they're all ghosts? He's already killed the whole town.
Yes, they're all ghosts.
You know what? Never mind. There's nothing good about this Dexter remake. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I also, in serial killer related, I watched The Muppets, the Office type one. I forget what. I think it's just called The
Muppets.
Muppets.
Period. Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't understand. I'm gonna watch more of this. I only watched one episode, but I'm gonna watch more of this because I can't figure this out. Why doesn't this work?
That is a level of completionist that I salute you, sir. That is not easy.
Don't get me wrong. This isn't for pleasure. This is for science. This should work. This has the elements. They're all placed in this. The Electric Mayhem is the show band. Fozzie is the warm-up act for Miss Piggy's show. They're in the writer's room like 30 Rock. Gonzo's pitching bits. It's like, all of this on paper is a show I would greenlight and go, yeah, definitely make that. And it comes out like as a fucking train wreck. Like, doesn't work at all. It's so weird.
It all should work.
They place Sam the Eagle in the perfect place again, where he's the standard practices guy, telling him what they can and can't say.
Okay, does anybody got anything else?
I have a broadcast standards note.
Okay.
The following inappropriate words need to be deleted from tonight's script. Crotchety, twiddle, and gesticulate.
Gesticulate? Well, that just means to move your hands.
Which leads to shaking hands, which is the first step in making babies. Not on my watch.
And I'm like, Sam, Good for you, Sam. You do you, Sam.
So there's a quote here from the executive producer, Bob Cushel, about how they wanted to make this about the Muppets as individuals and their emotional lives separate from each other.
Oh,
And
that's
I feel like maybe that's part of the problem. Like they shouldn't have like the point of the movie where the Muppets are separate from each other is always like the low point right before the finale.
yeah. Yeah.
Like they're supposed to be together. And I don't know, there's something about this that I just remember thinking like somehow this is fucking meaner than I even want the Muppets to be.
Yeah. Elizabeth Banks beats the
Yeah.
shit out of Scooter.
Okay, I would pay to see that again.
What is she wear? Wait. What is she wearing?
What was she wearing?
Les gets me.
Must be an old person
Elizabeth
thing.
Banks is just amazing. She's gonna look hot beating up Scooter.
I was making a BDSM joke, Nick.
Oh, I got you. All right. But yeah, the Miss Piggy being a diva and like having the whole show actually star around her is actually a big mistake. Like, and you know, Kermit and them being exes, I was like, I don't like them being in a relationship to begin with. Them being bitter exes is a step even further in that.
Yeah.
And also, fucking Kermit's new girlfriend is fucking haunting.
Yeah, creepy sexy pig is weird.
Miss Piggy is a pig that has a wig on and is a woman. Got it. The new girlfriend they made for Kermit, they obviously put into a room and said, okay, we need a sexy Muppet pig. And that's wrong. That's wrong. I don't believe in that.
It's honestly a shame we've already named this episode because Sexy Muppet Pig is a great episode title.
Sexy Muppet Pig is the name of my new death metal band.
Natalie Dormer plays sexy Muppet Pig.
Oh, God,
See,
and
now-
even kind of
see,
looks
now-
like her.
Now I'm
Oh,
interested again. Yeah.
You-
This all should have worked. This all should have worked.
yeah, instead it's a fucking disaster.
Yeah, and just unpleasant, as I recall. Just not very funny.
I less watched a couple movies. The No One Sleeps in the Woods Tonight movies. They're all right up until the the third act of the part 2, where they decided to pull a Malignant style twist of like, holy shit, this is a completely different movie, and it's getting by on basically the balls to do this twist. And I was like, I texted Les, I think, in 3:00 in the morning of like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing right now, but if you haven't watched this movie already, this is a less watch for sure.
It's like you don't even have to watch the first one. You could just start at the second one. You'll feel like you missed things, but you haven't.
You have not. Trust me, you haven't. Then I kept up with Reincarnated as a Slime and Miss Kobayashi Maru's Dragon Maid. Yeah, that was pretty much... Oh, wait, yeah, The Toys That Made Us. I watched the Ninja Turtles episode of The Toys That Made Us.
Oh, yeah. I need to catch up on the movies that made us. I need to catch the Halloween stuff, the horror movie stuff.
They're very fun.
Oh, yeah, that's very interesting. Like, especially the Halloween one compared to the Friday the 13th one.
Yes, watch those. Watch Halloween and then watch the Friday the 13th one. It's hilarious.
All right, I think, does that bring us to the end of our TV Diaries segment and also our main segment for this week?
I guess
Indeed.
so.
All right, well, then we're going to close out with a reminder. You can support us by going over to patreon.com/tvdudes. Throw us a buck an episode. In exchange, we get to keep with our streaming services and pay for our hosting costs and hopefully find TV to watch on one of those dozen streaming services. And you get bonus content each week. This week, we're playing Franchise Matchup. And if you want to know what that is, listen to the Patreon. We also have our $20 showrunner level. So if there are shows you want us to throw in the rotation, you can buy into that level. Give us a couple of ideas. Again, does not have to be anime or wrestling. It probably will be, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, you can actually make us watch Dexter the New Blood or Animaniacs, because that's probably the only way I'm going to finish those. So,
until next time.
TV Dudes out.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.